Welcome, everyone. My name is Caprice Crebar, and I'm your host for tonight, introducing someone who's a dear friend of mine, Kristin Finley. She is a registered dietitian. I'll share a little bit more about her before we get into the meat of this call, but we want to thank you for being here, spending your evening. This will be about half hour. Q&A is you can stay for that after, but the bulk of the presentation is half hour. And we do appreciate that you gave your time to us tonight to learn because knowledge is power. So before I introduce Kristin, I'll share a little bit about myself. I have for the last 20 years been a proud partner of the Juice Plus company. I'm deeply committed to helping people experience the powerful impact of putting more plants in your body. Along the way in my Juice Plus journey, I became a master certified health coach, and I founded the Joy of Wealth, WELLTH, a health coaching company grounded in the belief that the quality of your health is the true measure of success. So my journey with the Juice Plus company began when my kids were in elementary school. They were catching all the colds, all the things. My husband and I were busy professionals with little time or energy to make nutritious meals for our family. I am really I feel blessed that I was the kind of person, like all of you clearly are, who was open when someone asked me to take a look at Juice Plus. And it changed our family's health for the better. Our kids never had another earache, didn't catch colds as easily anymore. Personally, my energy has been off the charts for the last 20 years after I was experiencing a lot of afternoon slump. I had virtually no menopausal symptoms. My borderline anemia was improved to normal levels. My husband's lower back inflammation was reduced to eliminate his back pain. And overall, we feel like we're aging more gracefully in our late 50s. So I want to acknowledge that this is my personal experience with Juice Plus, and everyone's journey is unique. And while results may vary, what's consistent is the science behind Juice Plus. And that's why I am really excited to be able to share with you well, Kristin shares it. I love that she shares the clinical research. She's a registered dietitian. She shares the real data that proves that Juice Plus gets into the body and it does truly beneficial things for anyone who's taking it consistently. So now I'll share a little bit with you about Kristin Finley. She is a registered dietitian, a certified personal trainer who's based in Tucson, Arizona. She's originally from Boise, Idaho, and she attended Oregon State University, where she competed as a Division I gymnast on their nationally ranked team. After earning her degree in dietetics, Kristin completed her dietetic internship at Barnes Hospital in St. Louis, Missouri, and she went on to work in clinical nutrition for over a decade. She then took a meaningful break from her professional career to raise her three sons with her husband, Charlie, who's a U.S. Air Force pilot. Their journey took them across the country. Eventually, they landed at Davis-Monthan Air Force Base in Tucson in 2012. And when Charlie retired in 2007, they chose to make Tucson their forever home. And it's beautiful. Kristin launched Daily Dose Fitness and Nutrition, which combines her passion for evidence-based wellness with practical coaching. She also partnered with the Juice Plus company to offer whole food solutions to those who are ready to reclaim their health, their energy, and their vitality. So with that, I will turn it over to Kristin. And thank you, Kristin, for blessing us with your knowledge, with your passion to help others with their health, and with this science-backed evidence that nutrition is really what we need for increasing our health span. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, good evening, and thanks, Caprice, for that nice introduction. I'm excited to be here tonight to speak about a health journey that has changed my life. It's changed my family's life, as well as the lives of so many others that I love and care about. It's a journey that I think is doable for anybody at any stage of life. And as a dietitian, I'm just super passionate about it. And I'm assuming that you're here tonight because you're hoping to gain some nugget that you can put to use tomorrow morning. Something that will motivate you to take the next step to increase more than just your lifespan, because let's face it, A long life is not that great if we're not living well. So what I'm really hoping to inspire is action that will improve your health span. My hope is that I can leave you with a clear path for the next step in your health journey. I'll start by looking at some US health statistics, then examine steps that you might take to begin your own journey. And my first question is, why do we even need a health journey? And I know this is a personal question and everyone has their own reason or reasons, but I want to share a few statistics that might bring your personal reason into focus. So chronic illness and chronic disease is something that I'm sure all of us have some connection to, whether you personally are affected or you know someone who is affected. But 6 in 10 of us have one chronic illness, and 4 in 10 of us have 2 or more chronic illnesses or diseases. And a chronic disease is simply defined as a condition that lasts more than 1 year. And as you can see by these statistics, chronic illness is very common, but I'm here to tell you that it is not normal. What you may not know is that chronic disease is the leading cause of death and disability in our country. The most prevalent chronic diseases are heart disease, which is the leading cause of death in the United States, cancer, which is the second leading cause of death, diabetes that affects 37 million people and 20% don't even know they have it. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD, which is a group of lung diseases that includes bronchitis and asthma, stroke, Alzheimer's disease, which is, of course, a progressive brain disorder that affects 9% of the population over 65 years old and 1/3 of those over 85 years old. And chronic kidney disease, which is a condition that damages the kidney's ability to filter waste from the blood. So other chronic diseases include autoimmune disease, inflammatory bowel syndrome, hypertension or high blood pressure, arthritis, and obesity, which is a major risk factor for many other chronic diseases. And this is not a complete list at all, but I want you to think for a moment of either yourself or somebody you know that has one of these conditions. Chronic disease is not only it not only causes death and disability, but it steals our joy and robs us of our hopes and dreams. Because if we're sick, let's face it, the only goal that we can really have is to get well. And chronic disease is not cheap. As you can see by this slide, the United States spends about twice as much on healthcare as other large, wealthy countries. And you would think with the amount of money that we spend on healthcare, we would at least rank high with other countries on our health outcomes. But that is actually very far from the truth. And as you can see on this slide, the United States has it has the poorest health outcomes when compared to other large, wealthy countries. In our country, we tend to use medications as a first line of treatment for most medical problems. And polypharmacy, which is the use of 5 medications at the same time, affects 37% of the general population and 65% of those over 65 years old. And what's the big problem with polypharmacy? There's actually a lot of complications. And first off is just increased potential for taking medications incorrectly. Every medication has like its own set of instructions. Some you need to take with food, some you need to take without food, some you need to take, totally alone, like without any other medications, which is hard if you're taking 5 medications. We can have drug-drug interactions. So some drugs make other drugs more potent, some drugs make other drugs not as potent. And then we have drug-disease interactions. Some drugs, for example, can cause blood sugars to be increased, which increases the need for more medication to now lower the blood sugar. Cognitive impairment increases as the number of medications increases, and with cognitive impairment or independent of the cognitive impairment, we see increased falls and hospitalizations. And finally, prescribing errors gets tricky, especially as multiple doctors are prescribing multiple medications. So if we're not talking about medications, how are we going to treat chronic disease? There definitely is a role for medicine, but we cannot use those tools to lessen the role that we play in our own health. Our healthcare system is taxed and is becoming increasingly focused on sick care versus well care. So it's not only a good thing to practice healthy habits, but it's vital that we do so if we want to prevent chronic illness and increase our lifespan, but more importantly, increase our health span. So there's 6 habits that have a huge impact on improving our health span. And the first 3 habits are habits that we should work on to increase, starting with nutrition, where according to the CDC, 90% of Americans are not eating the recommended number of servings of fruits and vegetables on a daily basis, and 41.9% are considered obese. 80% of Americans don't get enough exercise, and 35% are getting less than 7 hours of sleep a night. And poor sleep is not only linked to chronic health conditions like hypertension, heart attack, and stroke, but it also affects appetite hormones that increase hunger and calorie consumption. So obesity is markedly increased for those who get less than 7 hours of sleep a night. Now for habits that we should work on to decrease or eliminate. And chronic stress has a significant impact on the immune system that ultimately manifests in disease and illness. It raises catecholamine and suppressor T cell levels, which suppress the immune system. In 2022, 19.8% reported tobacco product use, with 11.6% reporting current cigarette smoking. The good news is that we are seeing these numbers decrease, but we still have 28 million people in our country who continue to smoke, and it remains one of the biggest causes of preventable illness. Nearly 1 in 3 adults is an excessive drinker. That means for women, more than 8 drinks a week, or for men, more than 15 drinks a week. And most of them binge drink on many occasions, which for women is consuming more than 4 drinks on one occasion, and for men consuming more than 5 drinks on one occasion. 1 in 30 adults is considered alcohol dependent. The CDC estimates that eliminating 3 risk factors, poor diet, inactivity, and smoking, would prevent 80% of heart disease, 80% of stroke, 80% of type 2 diabetes, and 40% of cancers. Now, I understand that it's a bit optimistic, as eliminating these risk factors may be a bit idealistic, but think what we could do if we even made a dent in improving these risk factors. And since I'm a dietitian, I'm going to spend most of the rest of my time talking about what a healthy diet can do for us, which brings me to this little girl right here who looks like her mother forgot to comb her hair before picture day when she was in kindergarten. But this little girl, I have a twin sister, by the way, she looked perfect. She looked like a little angel in this picture. I looked like, I don't know. And to top it off, I had a little booger in my nose too. My dad would take this picture out and just laugh and laugh at it just sporadically, periodically, would take it out of his wallet. He always carried it in his wallet. But anyway, I digress. This girl was smart and athletic and seemingly well-nourished, healthy child who at 6 years old was diagnosed with her first chronic illness, an autoimmune disease called psoriasis. And although psoriasis may seem benign, it's painful, it's embarrassing, and it increases the risk of obesity, depression, diabetes, hypertension, and heart disease. In addition, it comes with a projected shorter lifespan, which you can kind of see given all those side effects, right? This girl would take medication every day for the next 43 years in a poor attempt to manage her symptoms. The young woman in the middle was a Division I gymnast who was healthy and strong, in addition to being an honor student with the highest team GPA. She also had 5 surgeries in the 4 years she was at college. She had chronic back pain, ankle pain, shin splints, and stress fractures. She used Motrin daily, which along with a less than ideal diet resulted in anemia. In addition, her psoriasis was horrible, and she would go on to develop a pretty severe depression. And the grown woman on the right is involved in triathlons and was in great physical shape despite being in perimenopause and approaching 50. What you don't see are the 3 allergy medications that she has begun taking, along with her daily psoriasis medications. She has chronic back pain, and due to all those college surgeries, is now facing an eventual knee replacement. Throughout this journey, this girl, this collegiate athlete, and this middle-aged woman was offered lots of medications and surgeries, some necessary, but at no time did a doctor offer hope with nutrition and lifestyle. And if I think about it, this isn't that unbelievable, as I know that most doctors receive very little nutrition education in their training. And most of the nutrition education they do receive is focused on specific guidelines for disease states, like how many carbohydrates a person with diabetes should have at breakfast, or how much protein someone with end-stage kidney disease should have. And even as a clinical dietitian, nutrition to improve health span was undervalued. We were more concerned with getting people healthy enough to leave the hospital, and very rarely saw patients after discharge, even when we recommended outpatient follow-up. I'm of the belief now that regardless of our healthcare system that has many knowledgeable doctors that can extend a lifespan, extending our health span is largely our own responsibility. We are going to have to make the time to become educated, the time to do the work it requires to make healthy meals or do daily exercise, and we're going to have to make some financial investments, whether that be a gym membership or spending more at the grocery store to ensure we have plenty of produce. But as someone who has counseled a lot of people, these investments are way better than the investments required when one is dealing with one or more chronic illnesses. So where do we start? Many people start with exercise, and as a personal trainer, I think this is great. We need to move our bodies more, and particularly as we get older, we need to be incorporating strength training into our exercise plan. As a dietitian, however, I believe we can't ignore the idea that fruits and vegetables are the foundation of good health. And to improve our long-term health and our health span, we must work to improve that statistic that 90% of us are not getting enough. Why? Because the nutrition in fruits and vegetables decreases chronic inflammation, and inflammation is the root of nearly all chronic disease. Fruits and vegetables give the liver the nutrition it needs to get rid of toxins, and when the body's toxic load is decreased, inflammation is decreased. Fruits and vegetables also decrease oxidative stress. Think of your body as a machine equipped with an internal campfire. As our body turns our food into energy, it keeps the campfire running and provides us with the energy needed to live. Just like a wood-burning campfire, however, our internal campfire creates smoke and embers in our body, and these are called free radicals. Free radicals are oxygen-containing molecules with an uneven number of electrons, and as these unstable molecules bump into tissues and cells, they damage fatty tissue, DNA, and protein and cause inflammation, the precursor to chronic disease. Fruits and vegetables contain antioxidants, which donate an electron to these unstable molecules without becoming unstable themselves. In addition, the fiber in fruits and vegetables provides food for the good bacteria in your gut. And we're learning so much about the microbiome, and it's a whole other talk. So I'm not going to go into it right here, but briefly put, the more good bacteria you have in your body, the more healthy you're going to be. And finally, fruits and vegetables support a healthy weight. And because weight loss is a part of so many people's plan to improve their health span, I want to spend just a few minutes talking about how fruits and vegetables assist with weight loss. Part of weight management and weight loss depends on the toxic load in our body. And toxins are everywhere. They're in the air, the water, the soil, plastics, household cleaners, and products that we put on and in our body. Toxins are primarily fat soluble, and to get them out of the body, they have to be converted to a water soluble form. Fruits and vegetables provide the substances for this to happen. So if you lose weight by burning calories through diet and exercise, but you lack fruits and vegetables to convert the fat-soluble toxins to a water-soluble form, the weight comes off, but the toxins remain in the body. And this is shown in the top part of that slide. Those remaining toxins not only contribute to inflammation when they run rogue in the body without the protection the fat provides, but they also seek fat to wrap themselves back up in, resulting in rebound weight gain. The scenario in the bottom part of the slide is different in that this person may be using diet and exercise, but is also supporting those efforts with plenty of fruits and vegetables, which allows the conversion of the fat-soluble toxins to a water-soluble form where they can be excreted from the body, so there is no need for the body to go on a fat-seeking mission. It's a much more effective way to get rid of fat and keep it off. So the next question is, how much is enough? I hope you're now starting to see that we can do a lot of good by eating more fruits and vegetables. But like I said earlier, 90% of us are not getting enough, and what we are getting isn't as nutritious as it was 50 years ago. And this is due to a lot of factors, including nutrient depletion of our soil, produce being harvested before it reaches its peak ripeness when nutritional value is maximized, and shipping produce thousands of miles before it's even sold. When I first started working as a dietitian, we were telling people that you needed to eat 5 a day. It's now thought that someone in good health with no chronic health conditions needs about 7 servings of fruits and vegetables, while someone with chronic disease or who is an athlete may need 13 servings or even more. And why is this? Well, illness and activity increase inflammation and oxidative stress. So more oxidative stress requires more antioxidants to neutralize the free radicals, and the food's highest in antioxidants are fruits and vegetables. Think about how many servings you've had today. Have you had enough? It's also worth mentioning that it's not enough to have enough servings of fruits and vegetables per day, but we also need a wide variety. Each fruit and vegetable has a unique set of chemicals called phytonutrients or phytochemicals, and a wide variety of phytonutrients are needed to keep the body running smoothly. So it really is important to eat the rainbow. In 2015, I was introduced to something that changed the way I thought about my health and my family's health, as well as the way that I practice dietetics. I was introduced to a product called Juice Plus, which is basically dried fruits and vegetables that come in a capsule, a chewable, or a drinkable form. And when I say fruits and vegetables, I'm not just talking about the juice. I'm talking about the whole produce with peels and seeds when possible. I'm talking about acerola cherry, dates, cabbage, spinach, kale, bilberry, blackcurrant, cranberry, nutrition in your body every single day. And I don't know about you, but I've had a bilberry never. And I eat cranberries about once a year at Thanksgiving time. But I get this nutrition in my body every single day by taking Juice Plus. Juice Plus is not a vitamin mineral supplement. It's functional food. It's made from non-GMO produce that is mashed into a slurry and then dried at low temperatures to preserve the nutrition. The powders that result are then encapsulated and put into a chewable form or made into a powder that can be added to water for a delicious drink. I love that the product is NSF certified, meaning it's third-party tested for purity, but most of all, because I do believe in science, I love that it is researched. Over 40 clinical studies have been published in peer-reviewed journals showing that it builds our body and conditions our physiology. One of my favorite studies was done in 2017 and looked at polyphenols. So polyphenols are plant nutrients that have beneficial effects on cardiovascular health and oxidative stress. This was a one-day trial, and it was done on 20 subjects who, after a 2-week period of no supplements, dietetic products, drugs, or medicines, and a 2-day low polyphenol diet just before the trial, had baseline blood drawn and then were given 1 fruit, 1 vegetable, and 1 berry capsule, a half of an adult dose of Juice Plus. What happened next is that they were followed, they took blood tests at 1 hour, 2 hours, 5 hours, and 10 hours. And the researchers were able to find 20 polyphenols that were in Juice Plus in the blood samples at different times, suggesting that some of the polyphenols were absorbed in the small intestine and some lower down in the gastrointestinal tract. But the really interesting thing is that polyphenols that aren't in Juice Plus started showing up in the blood, suggesting that the body converted the polyphenols from Juice Plus into new polyphenols. It also suggested that polyphenols from Juice Plus help to nourish the microbiome. So in 2015, I became my first client, and after a year of consistently taking it, I couldn't deny that my experience mirrored the research on the product. I became a partner with the company and knew this could be something that I could offer my clients, knowing that, again, 90% of them aren't getting enough fruits and vegetables in their daily diets.
Make sure you lock the door.
So the fruit, vegetable, and berry essentials are our signature products, but I want to mention some other amazing products very briefly. The Omega Blend Essentials are unique from other omega supplements because they're plant-based. So instead of containing fish oil, they're plant-based instead of containing fish oil and contain not only omega-3 fatty acids, but omega-3, 5, 6, 7, and 9. Another awesome thing is that the vegan capsules are cold fused so that they're not heated, which can oxidate those oils and make them go rancid. The 41st Juice Plus study was done on the omegas in 2020 and showed they increased the omega index, which is significant because a higher omega index is associated with a reduced risk of cardiovascular disease, improved cognitive function, and maintenance of normal vision. Juice Plus has 2 plant-based protein powders. Both of them are vegan. Complete is the first one. It has 13 grams of protein and 8 grams of fiber. Which helps to stabilize blood sugars and provides food for the good bacteria in the gut. It's a prebiotic. The Perform, our newer protein powder, with its 25 grams of protein per serving, also contains ingredients that supports performance and recovery. I like a trial that was published in Gynecologic Oncology that studied whether Juice Plus could bridge the gap between what cancer survivors should and do eat. They looked at 51 stage 2 to stage 4 ovarian cancer survivors who were randomized into 2 groups. One group followed the Women's Healthy Eating and Living Study diet, which included eating 10 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. The second group ate 5 servings of fruits and vegetables, but they took Juice Plus fruit and vegetable capsules and had 1 complete shake every day. So both groups had increased levels of antioxidants, such as carotenoids, both stabilized key markers of cancer, and both reported having good quality of life. The Juice Plus Complete group, however, had better protein status and better compliance. I mean, let's face it, it's hard to eat 10 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. I would think that probably a good percentage of us on the call have a hard time doing that every single day. And finally, I want to put the spotlight on one of the newest products in the Juice Plus lineup. Luminate is a low-sugar, gluten-free, powerful blend of plant-based nootropics and adaptogens. What are these, you ask? Simply put, adaptogens are used to ease the effects of stress on the body, while nootropics are used to stimulate cognitive function. Because this is a new product, we are relying on studies done on the ingredients in the product versus the actual product. But people are reporting enhanced mental clarity, increased mental energy, heightened alertness, improved working memory, and better focus and concentration in as little as 30 minutes after taking Luminate. So, whatever happened to this little girl? The little girl that was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition at age 6. The little girl who did eat fruits and vegetables as a kid, thanks mom. The little girl who went on to compete on a ranked Division I gymnastic team despite a lot of injuries. A little girl who went on to be a registered dietitian that ate lots of fruits and vegetables and maintained an active lifestyle despite pain and allergies. That little girl turned 58 last month, and a few years ago, she sat in a talk pretty much like this and thought, what if? At almost 50, this woman started with one simple change, a few capsules a day, and eventually changed some other lifestyle habits to improve her health span. She made exercise an almost daily priority. She began to prioritize sleep. And she eventually went from 43 years without missing a day of psoriasis medications to using a fraction of the medications she once did. She no longer takes any allergy medicine. She had that knee replacement in 2021, and by 20 miles, 8 weeks later, and skied 6 months later, after 10 years of being unable to ski. That little girl with some wonky genetics feels better in her 50s than she did in her 30s and 40s. So I want to ask you, what does improving your health span look like? For me, it's the ability to spend time with my people. This is my family in the picture. The ability to hop a water taxi and explore the cobblestone streets of Verano, Italy, to walk across the Brooklyn Bridge, to bike the streets of Belgium, to explore castles in Lisbon and zipline in the rainforest of Costa Rica. It has not been at no cost. I've spent money, I've invested time, and I've made some sacrifices to support my health. But I look at these pics as an almost 60-year-old, and I know that most of this would be impossible without my health. I want to leave you with a couple of slides, and I debated whether to put this one up because as a dietitian, I don't believe in labeling food as good or bad, and ultimately I do believe that all food can fit into a healthy lifestyle. But I think what I want to emphasize is that you are able to affect your health with the choices you make. And I also want to emphasize that it's not only a good thing to be your own health advocate, but it's vital to be your own health advocate because nobody is going to care about your health as much as you will. And finally, a health journey is a marathon. It is not a sprint. I would rather see people make one change that they can do most of the time forever than 10 changes that'll last 1 month, 6 months, or even a year or two. Because ultimately, these short-term changes won't really impact a life. I challenge you to take a step, whether it be exercising more, getting enough sleep, eating more fruits and vegetables, or committing to adding Juice Plus to your daily diet. And with that, I'm going to turn off my screen share and send it right back to you, Caprice.
Wow. Wow. I feel so blessed that we get to have you on this call and we get to have your knowledge, your wisdom, your passion. This is a phenomenal presentation. And we're hoping to get this on the recordings group in Facebook. So watch for it. I'm going to put in the chat my email. So if you really want this, as soon as we have it uploaded on YouTube, then I am happy to share the link with you so you could share it with others who may want to uplevel their health. So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with 3 options you can act on. And I use ACT as an acronym because action changes things. Because no matter where you are on your journey, there is something here for you. So the first thing that I'd like to offer or suggest is that maybe after hearing this, You were simply inspired to get more intentional about your health. That alone is a win. Take that inspiration, make some healthy changes, as Kristin suggested, to your routine, and I promise your body will thank you. Start now. There's no better time than now. The second thing is that maybe you're curious and you're ready to experience Juice Plus for yourself. It's an easy way to bridge the gap and to get optimal nutrition every single day, just as Kristin described. And if that feels right to you, then connect with the Juice Plus partner who invited you to this call tonight. That person will gladly help you get started. And be sure to ask them about this month's special so that you get the best bang for your buck. And the third option is maybe as you were listening to this, people were coming to your mind. A friend, a child, a loved one, somebody that you know who could use more health, more energy, more vitality. They're talking about it, and they didn't get to hear this tonight. If you feel that, if you're thinking of these people and you feel called to share this and pay it forward, talk to the partner who invited you to this call so that they can show you how to do that too, which can even bring in extra income for you. I love it because I feel like every dollar that I earn as a Juice Plus partner is a reflection of the number of people that I've helped get healthy or healthier. So whatever your next step is, we do hope that you don't leave here the same. Take action that supports the health and the future that you want for yourself and for the people you care about. Please act, ACT, on what you heard tonight, because as I said, action changes things for you and for the people you care about. So thank you once again, Kristin, for volunteering your time here. You know, your time's valuable, and all of your time, all of you who joined tonight, your time's valuable. So we really want to applaud you for prioritizing your health, and even just showing up to learn and get inspired to take that next step. And with that, we'd like to open it up for questions. If anybody has them, I'm going to stop the recording and we will share this recording later.